Hey guys, got a 15-minute game on the board against somebody rated 1363. So based on current, the way things are going at the moment, I'm going to get my arse kicked by somebody who plays almost perfectly. Okay, so he's playing the modern defence. Plan is to develop the knight, castle that side. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and play fairly normal. This c3 isn't that normal, but my knight's going to come to this square, I think, at some point. Okay, I can come in, hit the queen. I'd expect him to use this opportunity to put his knight there. But if he does that, he's pinning the knight. Okay. Now, I've been playing mostly blitz recently, so I need to remember to calm down a little bit. Play my bishop here. Now, what I would like... I'm going to castle long, is the idea. So, the thing is, I want my queen on that square, and I want my knight on that square as well. Okay, let's put my queen on e2. He's probably going to play rook there. No, he's not. Okay. So where can the knight go? The knight actually has no real forward ideas. Remember, this knight is still pinned. Okay, let's develop the knight. I may even... Okay. Don't just react, Hunty. Okay, for takes, no. Oh, he can't take with the knight. If I take... No. I think I'm just going to push on. So this bishop really is biting on granite. Look at that. It's like a connect 4 of pawns there. Okay, he's moved the queen there. Why? I haven't decided whether to castle yet, so... I could even bring my bishop out here and pin this knight. Oh, he's broken this pin, that's one thing. So he might be thinking about bringing the knight out here. Huh. Knight can't come forward. Well, let's just carry on with plan A, kind of general idea with these fianchettoed bishop positions. Harry is a very useful protagonist here. Okay, what are you doing? You're not attacking my pawn. You're not really attacking anything, okay. I think if I hit you here, you have to bugger off back where you came from, like there. I do believe. I think we're okay. I'm on 1614 at the moment. I was 1660. In fact, I went under 1600 the other day after being spanked by a 1000 rated player. Okay, he's attacking this. If I move my knight here, it's defended twice. Once by the queen, once by the knight. Is there any benefit in that? Gets the knight out the way as well. Okay, let's try this idea. I think black is starting to feel the effects of lack of space. Like, it's got a real lot. I mean, this rook can't move. The queen doesn't have many options. This knight has to move in order to get anything done, but it can't go forwards in this way, and if it goes there, it's not really helping the situation. And he doesn't want to go here. So a terrible kind of sense of cramping now. Plus, you know, I might just move my bishop out of the way and just throw everything up the king's side now. Even that, you know, trade bishop's pawn takes is just horrible. I do want my queen on a dark square. In fact, if I play queen e3, I'm threatening to take the knight. Bishop takes, queen takes, I win a whole piece. Okay. Now this is a critical moment. One reason it's critical is because I have one opportunity to capture en passant. If I take en passant, he can't take with the bishop because he loses his knight. I'm attacking the bishop. The bishop actually has to retreat and then he loses his knight. Surely. Rook takes, I trade and win the exchange. He didn't think that one through, did he? Don Mao 32 from Italy. Don means kind of count or lord, doesn't it, I guess? Boss. And Mao is probably Maurizio. And here we have another problem. Pawn fork. Thank you for playing me at chess. Do appreciate it. Very much indeed. Okay, he's in trouble. Yeah, I'm going to recapture. He's now down quite a lot. Right, and I've got 11 minutes, right? So, relax. It's all good. I could castle. I could trade off the knight. Right, my opponent has quite a few pawns on light squares. So my advantage is I'm actually up a rook. I'm up a rook for a pawn right now. But the pawn that I've lost, I have no e pawn and I have no h pawn. My opponent has all his pawns apart from the f pawn, right? So this lack of a pawn here is good for me. My instinct says castle. Get the king and queen out off of the same line. I've always got this knight sitting there if I want to take it out. And if e takes, I could trade queens. Oh, he can't take with e because he just loses. So if I take the knight, he has to take with g. That then frees up my Gary. He can't take with the e pawn. That's got to be good. Especially when you're up a rook, you know? Yeah. Okay, so now what I want to do... I can't take there, it's defended twice. I'd love to put my queen here and kind of try and trade off queens. I just need to line up all my heavy junk on that side of the board. So I'm thinking this first, maybe just move the knight, don't know, but definitely rook d to g1 has to come soon. With this, I've got queen over to h2 with a threat of captures on h7. Might even put my rook here, I don't know, but let's get the knight here. Even got knight there as well, you know. He's starting some counterplay very late in the day. Also notice this rook has never played a part so far. Okay, so I'm thinking queen h2 really does force the issue. He's going to have to do something about that, and it's probably going to be this or this. He'll bring his queen up. But wherever he puts his queen, I actually have knight here, so I can force a trade of knights as well. And that's his only... Okay, well now that doesn't work, so I'm going to play this. And he can't defend that pawn with his knight. If he goes queen here or queen here, now I have knight there, and his knight doesn't defend. Look. This is unpleasant. Okay, rook dg1 now. And now I'm threatening here. Okay, free pawn, yeah? Free pawn. King can't advance right now. Okay. This is almost made. I have to come here. I feel like I've got two options. I've got push the pawn up. I've got double the rooks. Yeah, okay. Let's see if he wants a rematch. That was a good game. Good game. No, he doesn't want a rematch. Okay, so 1360 rated opponent. I do generally recommend. I've got this feeling coming through right now that it's so easy to click game review, yeah, and the computer goes right, and then says that was inaccurate, that was a mistake, that was a blunder, and you sit there and you go, oh yeah, silly me, right? In the old days, before we had engines, and I'm going back, 10 years, right? Before we had freely available engines for everyone, people used to sit down and analyse their own games, and I think there's a real benefit to that. So what I want to do is I want to go through. Okay, so I want to go through the analysis on my own, and see if I can see what mistakes I made, and then I'll use the computer to correct me, fill in the gaps. Okay, so what's going on here? So he's playing the modern. So this is a hypermodern approach. He's chosen not to compete for the centre initially at all, but the idea with the hypermodern openings is that you develop your pieces very often with fianchettos, well, almost exclusively on that side, and then you strike for the centre later. So the classical approach is to compete for the centre right from the first move, and that's what I've done because it's principled. Okay, so now I bring out my knight. Reason is the bishop's looking at that, and currently it's defended only by the queen. So developing the knight has a few things. One, my king's one step closer to castling because I've moved one of the minor pieces, okay? And castling your king is a good thing. Secondly, I'm defending this pawn. Thirdly, I'm controlling the centre. And also, my knight plays a defensive role, protecting c2 and these other squares around there as well. Okay, so generally good. Quietish pawn move. Maybe he's thinking about this. And if he does that, I really want to play the Italian bishop move, right? For reasons that we know. Because if he comes out and pins, you can counter on f7. If king takes, you move there with check. And you win the bishop, right? We have videos on this. But anyway, so c3. Now, it's a dubious move, c3. I'm condemning my knight to not being able to go straight to c3, which is where he wants to go. However, I am blocking off this diagonal, although, it has to be said, this bishop's not going to go on there, and neither is the queen until this pawn moves. So that was a little bit preemptive. I just figured with him having his, dark squared bishop on the dark diagonal, the long diagonal, I just thought, let's just forget that, let's neutralise any ideas that this bishop might have of coming in and, being a hero later on, right? So that was my thinking. What could I have done there? I could certainly have developed a choice of pieces. So that's probably what the computer will say. Okay, he makes another quiet move. Now, with d6, he opened up this line for his bishop, and with e6 on the next move, he's closed it again. What's that about? Yeah, he's opening up a route for his queen to come out, but she can't go there and she can't go there. So he's definitely playing kind of very close to his chest. So I develop now with a threat. Hit the queen, right? It's protected by the knight. And also I want to get my bishop out somewhere before I move my knight here and pair it with that knight. So knight blocks. Okay, now this knight is pinned. Now this knight is not guarding any of the squares it appears to be guarding. Okay, so normal developing move, bishop. Now I could have come here, could have come here, although it might have run into traffic there. This just felt normal. And also, with the idea that at some point this pawn will move, at some point stuff's going to break down over this side of the board. You always have to be thinking that the game is going to degenerate, it's going to decay, it's going to break down over time, right? So bishops in particular, you can put them on ice, right? And say, you just lurk there, and then later on in the game, you'll get some evil, right? Castles. We knew that was coming. Okay, queen e2. I didn't want to put my queen here because I want my knight to be able to go there, give me the option of castling. Okay, but at least my queen's off the back rank. Yeah, develops his knight. Okay, now because of, again, these dark squares, and there's a slight benefit then to c3, which is that his knight can't advance there, right? Yeah, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. So it's not a great looking knight. Maybe it would have been better for black to put his knight here. I don't know. But look how all his stuff is on the first 3 ranks on his side, yeah? right? Whereas I'm up to 5 ranks deep. Okay, now the knight comes out. Now I've practically completed development. All I need to do is castle my king one way or the other. Right, and now d5. So he's moved this d pawn 2 times, and I figure I don't want to open up the middle of the board, right? For one thing, my king's still in the middle of the board and he's actually castled. So why would I want to do that? And then secondly, let's just add another granite brick to the wall of granite that this bishop's biting on. What's not to like? Now he moves his queen across, which is odd. I mean, it breaks the pin on this knight. I get that, but that's about all I can think, okay? And now up comes Harry. And along comes Harry. This move I don't buy at all. Easy to kick away. I wanted to throw Gary and Harry up the board anyway, and him putting his knight there is just dangling it there for me, saying, please play g4 and kick me away. I would be delighted. Right, knight now comes back here. So if I play queen e3, then I've got an overwhelm on that knight. But he really is now suffering from lack of space. So one thing you want to do, I've learned, if you're the player that's really low on space, right? So you really can't, you're in a straitjacket, you can't move, right? So what you want to do is, you want to trade off. Now he's got pawn problems in the middle of the board. The pawns are all gridlocked in the middle of the board. He really does want to be trading off material, okay? Because that then benefits the player with the least space more because they get space. If their pieces disappear, then lines appear. Okay, so now I decide to maneuver my knight round because it really didn't have any forward prospects. So one thing you can do is just kind of switch color complexes, right? So my knight's on a light square. Means it can only go to dark squares, but they're all full. There's somebody in every seat, okay? But with this idea, that and maybe back to a different light square, right? I'm looking at different squares, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. But anyway, this allows Freddie now to join the party. And now my opponent, I think, makes his big mistake. Because he didn't calculate what is my opponent's best move, right? This. The bishop is the only defender of the knight, right? With this move here, putting the knight there, puts a lot of pressure on that bishop. That bishop now has to defend this knight, okay? And then to follow it up with this, when there is an en passant option, which hits the bishop, and the bishop has nowhere to go other than back to h8, thereby abandoning the defense of the knight, not good. So I thought it through. I couldn't see a problem with it. I still haven't castled my king. Doesn't matter. Tactical opportunity in the middle game. Let's go for it. And he gives up the exchange. But, and I didn't even see that. I just thought exchange, yes. And then g5 was just super, you know. And he's going to lose material. So he gives up his... that's a desperado capture. So he's thought, well, I'll grab a pawn on my way out. But in actual fact, grabbing that pawn does me a favour, if nothing else. What he should have done is probably just retreat the bishop, allow me to capture there. And his king's quite safe now, right? But bang, bang, right? And suddenly, I've got a semi-open h-file. I've got a semi-open f-file. Right? They're semi-open in different ways. This one only has black pawn. This one only has white. But still... Now his knight comes out, and I calmly castle. I figure, right, what we have to do now... I actually did a session with the breakthrough group at Chess Bootcamp Live the other day when we went through games where I had a winning position like +5, -5, and blew it. So we went through actually 5 of my previous games with the topic of how to win a one game, which is something that I know that I find quite difficult. So here, chilling, relax. We are up in exchange for a pawn. No, we're not. We're up a rook for a pawn. And Look at black's development. Terrible. Okay. So now he has a stab at some counterplay. I think this might have been okay, pitting the knight and the queen. I just decided to simplify and trade off. I want to open up lines down here, and I realised that the e-pawn couldn't take outwards because the queen's undefended. Right? So now f4, and it's just a simple case of get the knight out of the way, send in the big guns, and we're going to try and crush our opponent. With this move as well, you know, I figured that I can now hit the queen out of the way, and now we're just I can just brutally simplify my way down to an easy win, right? And resignation. So there you go, interesting game. I see Miko was observing that one as well. Quite enjoyed that and made 3 out of 3 guesses. So well done, mate. Yeah, yeah, useful one. Did my opponent play like a 1360? I don't think it was his best game. But let's quickly, I said we were going to do that. Let's quickly look at the game review. I reckon I was 75. I reckon he was lower, like 60. Something like that. But these numbers don't mean an awful lot to me. Huh, 94. Check this out. All right. Okay. Book. Oh, hey. C3 is a book move. There you go. I've won 55% of the time against this opening. That's good. It's not mistakes, not great. That's okay. Do you know what? If it's not actually a mistake or a blunder, I'm not interested. Knight e7 is best. Bishop d3 is best. Look, I played well here. Queen e2 is good. Good is good. Good is good enough for me. Okay, that's a mistake. And that's best. Yeah, I just felt a lot happier here. Right? So we've created now a permanent concrete block in the middle of the board. But my bishops are still pointing this way. That's the important thing. His bishops, one of them's biting on granite here and one of them is still in the box. That's the difference, right? These, having blocked off pawns in the middle of the board, can make life hard for bishops. But my bishops were unconcerned. Yeah, not great. I didn't get it. Excellent. Inaccurate. Best. Excellent. Excellent, cool. Oh yeah, so I had to come back and defend the pawn, didn't I? That's what I did. So now 2 defenders for the price of 1. That's good, and that's best. And I am now +5. So +5 is a winning position, but as I know very well, it's not guaranteed. Okay, rook takes his best. Tradey. Wow. Yeah. So I think he should have got away. I do. Let's see what the machine says. Best move was. Right. Actually develop that and at least allow this rook to take part. That's an interesting move. You see, you're going to lose a piece anyway. Doesn't matter. Improve your position. Okay. So I take. That's. Yeah, I really haven't put a foot wrong, really, have I, in this game? Well, that's not like me today. Excellent. Yep. Yeah. Oh wow. Playing like a bloody grandmaster. Look at that. Good stuff. Well, surprised there. I honestly thought that it would have highlighted 1 or 2 mistakes, but there you go. Look at me. Fantastic. Right. I'm going to crack on with my day. Feel good about that. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you soon.